Noodles might seem harmless, just boil, cook, and enjoy. But behind that simple preparation, hidden dangers lurk. High sodium can spike your blood pressure. Some factories cut corners on cleanliness, and misleading health claims make certain brands seem safer than they really are. Today, we're breaking down 10 noodle brands you should avoid at all costs, and revealing the 2 that are genuinely safe for your heart, kidneys, and overall health. Coming in at number 10, Annie Chun's Noodle Bowls. Avoid. Annie Chun's noodle bowls often appear in a different category altogether, positioned far above typical instant noodles. They're marketed toward health-conscious shoppers, many of them older adults looking for something quick but clean. The brand leans into trust, suggesting this is the smarter, safer choice when you don't want to cook but still care about what goes into your body. That reputation makes people less likely to question what's inside. At first glance, everything about the product signals quality. The packaging is sleek and modern, using earth tones and minimalist design instead of loud colors. The messaging highlights natural ingredients, no artificial flavors, and authentic Asian recipes. The price reinforces the idea, often costing twice as much as standard instant noodles. It feels like you're paying for peace of mind. But once you look closer, that confidence starts to crack. Despite being marketed as a better option, many Annie Chun's varieties still contain over 1,200 milligrams of sodium per bowl. For seniors advised to stay under 1,500 milligrams per day, that's a serious issue. One bowl can take up nearly the entire daily limit, leaving little room for anything else. It puts people in an impossible position: either ignore medical advice or eat bland, unsatisfying food for the rest of the day. The concerns don't stop with salt. There have been reports of undeclared allergens linked to cross-contamination in certain production runs. Ingredients like shellfish, soy, and wheat have appeared where they weren't listed. For seniors with food sensitivities, or those on medications that intensify allergic reactions, this lack of transparency can be dangerous. In older adults, allergic reactions can escalate quickly, with blood pressure dropping faster and airways tightening sooner than in younger people. Adding to the concern, emergency treatments don't always work the same way with age. EpiPens can be less effective for people taking beta blockers, a common medication among seniors. That means even a small exposure can turn into a medical emergency within minutes. All of this risk stems from something as basic as inadequate cleaning between production batches. Ironically, the noodles themselves seem premium. They're thicker and chewier than typical instant noodles, often made from rice flour or buckwheat. When cooked, they look glossy and taste slightly sweet. The broth packets include real dried mushrooms and seaweed, giving the meal a richer flavor. That higher quality makes it easier to trust and harder to suspect problems. Independent food safety testing has also raised red flags about heavy metals, particularly cadmium, in some rice-based products. Cadmium builds up in the body over time and is linked to kidney and bone damage. Rice can absorb it from contaminated soil or water, and even organic farming doesn't fully protect against this if the land has a polluted history. Annie Chun's bowls promise health, authenticity, and care, but the fine print tells a more complicated story, one that includes high sodium, allergen risks, and possible contamination. When you're paying premium prices, you expect premium safety. Instead, each peel-back lid becomes a quiet gamble. For seniors especially, that's a risk not worth overlooking.
At number 9, Maruchan Instant Lunch. Avoid.
Maruchan has been part of American kitchens for decades, often associated with college dorms, late nights, and quick meals that don't require effort. For many seniors, it feels familiar and harmless, something they've eaten for years without giving it much thought. The brand leans heavily into that comfort, presenting itself as a reliable, no-fuss option when cooking feels like too much. But familiarity can lower our guard, and that's where the real risk begins. It's sold as one of the easiest meals you can make, perfect for a quick lunch or a busy day when you just want something warm. Grocery shelves are lined with bright cups labeled chicken, beef, shrimp, all promising comfort in 3 minutes with nothing more than hot water. That simple formula helped Maruchan grow into a massive brand. Yet behind the cheerful colors and friendly flavors are concerns that become more serious with age. One of the biggest issues is sodium. Each cup contains more than 1,500 milligrams, which is already close to or above what many seniors should have in an entire day. For anyone managing high blood pressure, heart disease, or kidney problems, that single meal can quietly push the body past safe limits. You may not feel it right away, but the strain adds up over time. Then there are the additives that rarely get attention. Maruchan uses preservatives like TBHQ to extend shelf life and keep the noodles from going rancid. While allowed in the United States, TBHQ is restricted or banned in countries like Japan and parts of Europe due to safety concerns raised in laboratory studies. Long-term exposure is still debated, but for older adults whose bodies process chemicals more slowly, caution matters. Food safety is another overlooked problem. FDA inspections at certain Maruchan facilities have reported unsanitary conditions, including pest activity, improper temperature control, and storage practices that can allow bacteria to grow. For seniors with weakened immune systems, foodborne illnesses such as Salmonella, E. coli, and Listeria are not minor inconveniences. They can lead to severe dehydration, hospitalization, and in some cases, life-threatening complications. Even the eating experience raises questions. The noodles often turn overly soft after sitting in hot water, floating in a thin, oily broth that leaves a greasy film in the mouth. Some consumers have reported chemical-like odors or noodles that appear gray instead of their usual pale yellow. These complaints point to quality control issues rather than rare one-off mistakes. For those taking blood thinners like warfarin or Eliquis, or managing kidney disease, the risks increase further. High sodium can interfere with medication balance. Small changes in diet can have outsized effects on health at this stage of life. Maruchan may look comforting and smell familiar, but convenience does not equal safety. The cup might be hot in your hands and easy on your schedule, yet what's inside can quietly work against your health. When it comes to food, especially as you get older, the simplest option isn't always the safest one. Coming in at number 8, Top Ramen, avoid. For generations, Top Ramen has been a symbol of cheap comfort, something you could always count on when money was tight or time was short. Many seniors grew up with it, fed their families with it, or leaned on it during hard years. That long history creates trust. When something has been in your pantry since the 70s, it doesn't feel like a threat. It feels familiar, dependable, almost harmless. The promise has always been simple, quick, easy, filling. A hot meal in 3 minutes for less than $1. You open the packet, drop the noodles into boiling water, and that familiar steam rises up. It smells savory, almost meaty, with garlic and onion powder in the air. It's the smell of convenience and nostalgia, a shortcut meal that feels like it's always been there for you. What the brand doesn't highlight is what's packed into that seasoning. One serving contains more than 1,580 milligrams of sodium, well over 2/3 of what many seniors should consume in an entire day. For anyone managing high blood pressure, heart disease, or taking medications like ACE inhibitors or beta blockers, that amount can be dangerous. Sodium causes your body to hold on to fluid. Your ankles swell, your blood volume increases, and your heart has to work harder to push blood through already stressed vessels. Over time, that pressure takes a toll on your kidneys, speeding up the decline in function that often comes with age. The seasoning packet is where much of the damage hides. It delivers a strong, savory flavor through artificial additives and MSG, which can trigger headaches, chest tightness, and flushing in sensitive people. Seniors already on blood pressure medication may notice their readings becoming unpredictable. Consumer reports and patient stories have shown patterns where once stable blood pressure suddenly becomes harder to control, leading to medication changes and, in some cases, emergency room visits. The noodles themselves come with their own set of problems. They are flash fried in palm oil during manufacturing, which gives them that springy, absorbent texture people recognize. Over time, that oil can oxidize while sitting on store shelves, forming compounds linked to inflammation and arterial plaque buildup. Cholesterol numbers slowly creep upward, and the conversation at your next cardiology appointment becomes more serious. What was sold as a budget-friendly solution ends up costing far more in the long run. The convenience is real, but so is the cumulative damage. Each packet adds another layer of strain on your heart, your kidneys, and your blood vessels, especially when eaten regularly. Top Ramen promised speed and affordability, and it delivered that. What it didn't promise was safety. Every time you tear open that familiar packet, you're not just releasing a comforting smell, you're setting off a chain reaction inside your body. And it raises an uncomfortable question: why do you think a meal this cheap can afford to be everywhere, all the time? Coming in at number 7, Nissin Chow Mein. Avoid. For many seniors, noodles are supposed to be one of the safest foods. Cheap, easy to chew, quick to prepare, and comforting. That's exactly why Nissin Chow Mein is so dangerous. It looks familiar, feels convenient, and presents itself as a step above basic instant ramen. But when you look closely, this product stands out as the most harmful noodle option on the shelf for older adults. The packaging does a lot of the convincing. It promises authentic Chinese-style noodles with savory sauce ready in minutes. The photo shows glossy noodles, bright vegetables, and what looks like restaurant-quality takeout. It sets the expectation that you're getting something hearty and satisfying, not a cup of junk food. That image alone makes people trust it more than they should. The first major danger is sodium. One serving contains about 1,820 milligrams, nearly 80% of what many seniors should consume in an entire day. For those with high blood pressure, kidney disease, or anyone taking ACE inhibitors like lisinopril or benazepril, this amount can trigger sudden blood pressure spikes. Your heart beats faster, your head pounds, your vision may blur. In severe cases, this can turn into a hypertensive emergency that requires immediate medical care. The damage doesn't stop after the first spike. Excess sodium forces your body to retain fluid, increasing the volume of blood your heart has to move. That fluid can back up into the lungs, especially in seniors with underlying heart conditions. People wake up suddenly at night unable to breathe, forced to sit upright just to catch air. This is fluid overload and heart failure, and diet is often the trigger. For seniors with reduced kidney function, the impact is even worse. Kidneys already weaken with age, and forcing them to filter massive amounts of salt speeds up that decline. Creatinine levels rise, filtration rates drop, and the risk of ending up on dialysis increases. What feels like a simple meal quietly pushes organs closer to failure. Then there's how the noodles are made. They are deep fried in palm oil, often reheated multiple times during production. This process creates oxidized fats that are especially damaging to blood vessels. On top of that, high heat cooking of starchy foods produces acrylamide, a chemical linked to cancer. Studies have associated high acrylamide intake with increased risk of kidney and other cancers. These noodles aren't just unhealthy, they contain compounds your body should never be consuming regularly. Safety concerns extend beyond nutrition. Nissin facilities have been cited in inspection reports for poor temperature control during production and storage. When temperatures aren't properly managed, bacteria can grow, including Bacillus cereus, which causes severe food poisoning. The sauce packets are particularly risky. If they aren't cooled or stored correctly, bacteria multiply fast. Some consumers have reported rancid smells, strange discoloration, and even mold inside unopened packages. Even the eating experience reflects the problem. The noodles come out dark and greasy, leaving oil on your fingers. The smell is heavy and burnt, not fresh or savory. Once cooked, the noodles coat your mouth with grease, and the thick sauce looks more like sludge than food. The flavor is aggressively salty with artificial umami from MSG and processed additives. Many people report lingering chemical aftertastes, stomach cramps, and nausea shortly after eating. These complaints are not rare accidents. They are warning signs of a product designed to last forever on a shelf while cutting costs at every step. Shelf life and profit come first. Safety comes last. Nissin Chow Mein promises takeout-style convenience for pennies. What it delivers is a combination of extreme sodium, chemical exposure, contamination risk, and long-term organ damage. For seniors, this isn't just a bad food choice. It's a serious health hazard sold as dinner. If something this risky can sit openly on grocery shelves nationwide, it raises a bigger question. What other foods are quietly putting health at risk without anyone paying attention? Now at number 6, Knorr pesticides. Avoid. Knorr has long positioned itself as a go-to solution for busy households and seniors who want a quick, flavorful meal without much effort. The pouches promise convenience, offering options like creamy garlic shells, chicken broccoli, and Alfredo, all portioned for a single serving. With a globally recognized brand backed by Unilever, it's easy to trust that what you're buying is safe and reliable. That trust, however, can be misleading. Behind the familiar logo, a history of food safety failures raises serious concerns. In 2020, Knorr recalled thousands of units due to potential salmonella contamination traced back to their dried vegetable suppliers. Salmonella is far from a mild nuisance, especially for seniors. Older adults are more vulnerable to severe dehydration, electrolyte imbalances, and systemic infection because their immune systems cannot respond as effectively as in younger years. What starts as nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea can escalate quickly to fever, confusion, hospitalization, and in extreme cases, death. CDC data shows adults over 65 make up nearly 60% of salmonella-related deaths, despite being only 15% of reported cases. The numbers reveal how fragile the older body is in the face of contamination. Even when contamination isn't an issue, the product poses hidden risks. Sodium content in Knorr pesticides averages around 1,100 milligrams per serving, with some varieties reaching 1,400 milligrams. For seniors taking diuretics like furosemide or hydrochlorothiazide, this sodium load can trigger dangerous fluid retention. Legs swell, lungs fill with fluid, and breathing becomes difficult. Many seniors wake up in the night gasping for air, unable to lie flat, experiencing pulmonary edema, a serious emergency linked to congestive heart failure exacerbated by dietary sodium. Sulfites in the dried vegetables add another layer of risk. Used to preserve color and shelf life, sulfites can provoke severe respiratory distress in sensitive individuals. For seniors with asthma or COPD, exposure can trigger wheezing, chest tightness, and potentially life-threatening attacks. The cooking experience itself is deceiving. Boiling the pasta releases a comforting aroma of garlic, butter, and herbs. The noodles soften in the sauce, and the dried vegetables rehydrate, though they often remain rubbery and bland. The smell may feel cozy and familiar, but it masks the health hazards hidden in the ingredients. Shelf stability comes at a cost. Pouches are stored for months in warehouses where temperature changes and humidity can encourage bacterial growth, leaving older adults unknowingly at risk. Knorr's pesticides promise ease, flavor, and comfort, but they carry a silent burden of sodium, preservatives, and potential contamination. The next noodles we'll examine take these dangers to an even more extreme level, exposing risks that most Americans never suspect are hiding in their pantry.
At number 5, Coyo Ramen. Avoid.
Coyo has built its brand around health, purity, and conscious eating, positioning itself as the organic, non-GMO alternative for those who want to avoid conventional instant noodles. The packaging is earthy and calming, adorned with Japanese characters, promising traditional preparation methods. The noodles themselves are made from organic wheat and rice, while the seasoning packets rely on sea salt and dried vegetables instead of artificial additives. It's marketed as the antidote to processed convenience foods, a choice for the wellness generation. For seniors who care about nutrition and safety, it feels like the responsible option. But recent testing tells a different story. Several batches of Coyo Ramen have shown elevated levels of lead and cadmium, heavy metals that can leach into noodles from contaminated water sources during production. Lead is especially dangerous for older adults, affecting cognitive function over time. Even low-level exposure accumulates, potentially causing memory problems, difficulty concentrating, and personality changes. Family members might notice forgetfulness or irritability, while doctors may assume it's just aging. In reality, the culprit could be sitting right in your pantry. Cadmium, on the other hand, targets the kidneys. It accumulates in renal tissue, gradually impairing the organ's ability to filter waste from the blood. For seniors already managing chronic kidney disease, even small amounts accelerate the decline, pushing them closer to kidney failure or dialysis. A 2023 study published in Environmental Health Perspectives found that nearly 18% of organic grain products imported from certain Asian regions tested positive for heavy metal contamination. Organic certification does not automatically guarantee safety. Natural fertilizers, compost, or manure used in organic farming can introduce lead and cadmium into crops if they haven't been properly tested. The noodles themselves reinforce the sense of wellness. They are darker than conventional brands, flecked with bran, and smell wholesome and nutty. The texture is firm and substantial, and the whole grain flavor makes you feel like you're making a healthy choice. That's what makes the contamination so insidious. Consumers pay a premium for organic ingredients, thinking they are choosing the safest option, but they may be exposing themselves to toxins instead. Even the company's emphasis on sustainability and traditional methods cannot compensate for contaminated water at the source. Coyo promises clean, mindful eating, yet recent findings reveal a hidden risk that undermines that promise. For seniors, the stakes are particularly high, as years of exposure to lead and cadmium can have lasting consequences for both brain and kidney health. It raises a troubling question. If organic products with a premium price tag can still carry hidden dangers, how can consumers ever be sure what they're really eating? At number 4, Kraft macaroni and cheese. Avoid. Kraft mac and cheese is more than a meal. It's an American icon. The bright blue box, the signature elbow macaroni, and the neon orange cheese powder evoke memories of childhood and simpler times. For many seniors, opening that box brings comfort and nostalgia. The marketing leans heavily on that emotional connection. 7 minutes to a warm, familiar meal. But behind the bright packaging lies a reality that's far less comforting. The powdered cheese sauce contains artificial dyes like yellow 5 and yellow 6, both petroleum-derived additives. These dyes have been linked in studies to hyperactivity in children, organ damage in animals, and even cancer in laboratory research. Countries such as Norway, Finland, Austria, France, and the United Kingdom have banned them. Yet in the US, they remain a staple ingredient in one of the nation's most popular foods. For seniors, the more pressing danger is the combination of sodium and saturated fat. One serving contains 580 milligrams of sodium and 4 grams of saturated fat. Many people consume the entire box in a single sitting, which is labeled as 3 servings. That means 1,740 milligrams of sodium and 12 grams of saturated fat at once. For those managing high blood pressure, heart disease, or taking medication, this one meal can undo days of careful diet management. Blood pressure spikes, ankles swell, and the heart strains to pump blood through vessels burdened by excess fat. The safety risks extend beyond nutrition. Kraft facilities have faced repeated FDA warnings for unsanitary conditions. Inspections found mold growth on equipment, inadequate cleaning between batches, and improper pest control, including rodents and insects in production areas. In 2019, a whistleblower reported rodent droppings near the cheese powder mixing area. The company denied the claims, but FDA investigations confirmed multiple sanitation violations. When you prepare the noodles, boiling water softens them, and the orange powder dissolves into a vividly bright sauce that coats every piece of pasta. That glow isn't natural. Real cheddar ranges from pale yellow to a muted orange from annatto, a natural colorant. This artificial hue is designed to trigger nostalgia and appetite. The creamy texture comes from milk solids, cheese cultures, and emulsifiers that bind fat and water together, masking the fact that underneath the comforting appearance lies a product repeatedly flagged for safety and quality issues. The Kraft you remember as a childhood staple is now a vessel for hidden health risks. That blue box in your pantry delivers not just comfort, but sodium, saturated fat, artificial dyes, and the consequences of repeated sanitation violations. It's a stark reminder that convenience and nostalgia can sometimes come at the expense of your health. Before we reveal the solution that could change how you shop forever, there's one final, even more dangerous noodle product you need to avoid immediately. Now at number 3, Nissin Cup Noodles. Avoid. Nissin transformed instant noodles in 1971 with the invention of the foam cup, making hot meals portable and convenient. College students, busy workers, and anyone pressed for time embraced the ease, and the brand quickly became a cultural icon. But while convenience soared, production safety hasn't always kept pace. In 2022, several batches were recalled due to potential plastic contamination during packaging. Small fragments of hard plastic ended up in finished products. Imagine biting into soft, steaming noodles only to crunch down on an indigestible shard. For seniors, this is especially dangerous. Swallowing reflexes slow with age, and coughing strength declines, increasing the risk of choking or serious gastrointestinal injury that could require emergency surgery. Sodium content is another major concern. Some cup noodles varieties exceed 1,800 milligrams per serving, more than an entire day's allowance for someone managing hypertension. One cup, one meal, and your body has already reached its sodium limit. For older adults, that sudden spike forces the heart to work harder, promotes fluid retention, and strains blood vessels. The noodles themselves are flash-fried in palm oil to create the familiar curled shape and allow quick rehydration. But palm oil oxidizes over time, especially when packages are stored in heat or light. Oxidized fats form trans fats, which clog arteries more aggressively than saturated fats, raising LDL cholesterol and lowering protective HDL cholesterol. Research in the Journal of Nutrition shows that people who eat instant noodles more than twice per week have a 32% higher risk of metabolic syndrome, including high blood pressure, elevated blood sugar, excess abdominal fat, and abnormal cholesterol. For seniors already managing these conditions, cup noodles accelerate the problem. The foam cup itself adds another layer of risk. Pouring boiling water into the polystyrene container can cause chemicals like styrene, a possible human carcinogen, to leach into the food. The hotter the water and the longer it sits, the more migration occurs, quietly contaminating each meal. The flavor promises are enticing: teriyaki beef, spicy chicken, shrimp. The images on the packaging show colorful vegetables and chunks of meat. In reality, the dried vegetables rehydrate poorly, remaining rubbery and bland, and the beef often turns into a tough, cardboard-like texture. What's delivered is a cardiovascular threat in a convenient cup, wrapped in familiarity and marketed as a quick, easy solution. Despite the global flavors and nostalgia, the risks, from sodium overload to oxidized fats, chemical leaching, and choking hazards, make this product particularly dangerous for seniors. And the story doesn't end here. The next brand claims to be healthier and more authentic, but what's hiding inside is far more alarming. Stick around, the solution to safer shopping is coming at the very end. Coming in at number 2, Pastaroni. Avoid. Pastaroni has been a convenient pantry staple for decades, marketed as a quick side dish or easy dinner solution. The colorful boxes promise creamy Alfredo, cheesy cheddar, and herb and butter varieties. Just add water, milk, and butter, simmer for 12 minutes, and you have comfort food without the hassle. But behind the foil pouch lies a chemical cocktail that can be dangerous, especially for seniors. The seasoning mix contains MSG, artificial colors like yellow 5 and yellow 6, and hidden trans fats from partially hydrogenated oils. MSG may enhance flavor, but it can trigger headaches, flushing, and heart palpitations in many people. For seniors on blood pressure medication, these reactions can be more severe and longer lasting. The dyes, yellow 5 and yellow 6, are petroleum-derived and have been linked to hyperactivity in children and allergic reactions in adults. While banned in several European countries, they remain legal in the US, highlighting how outdated regulations and industry influence allow harmful ingredients to stay on American shelves. Trans fats in Pastaroni are another hidden hazard. For seniors managing cholesterol or taking statins like atorvastatin or rosuvastatin, these fats directly undermine treatment. Trans fats raise LDL cholesterol, lower protective HDL cholesterol, and increase inflammation in the cardiovascular system. While your medication works to improve heart health, the dinner you just ate is working against it, quietly sabotaging your efforts. Consumer complaints reveal additional concerns. Some packages emit a musty or almost moldy smell, and noodles sometimes appear grayish or have dark spots. Investigations traced these issues back to improper warehouse storage and rodent contamination in distribution centers. FDA inspection reports from 2021 cited multiple Pastaroni facilities for sanitation violations, including insect fragments in finished products, inadequate pest control, and temperature control failures that led to condensation and mold growth. Warning letters demanded immediate corrective action. Cooking the noodles produces a rich, creamy aroma of butter, cheese, and herbs. The texture is smooth and velvety, coating each piece of pasta. That creamy richness comes from powdered cheese, dried milk solids, and emulsifiers, but underneath that appealing surface, you're consuming artificial ingredients and potential contaminants. The foil pouch protects against moisture during storage, but it cannot stop pests from chewing through boxes in warehouses. What tastes comforting and indulgent could be hiding serious risks. The next time you reach for a familiar boxed pasta, it's worth asking, what else might be lurking inside? Seniors are especially vulnerable, and the hidden dangers in convenience foods like Pastaroni can quietly accumulate over time, impacting heart, kidney, and overall health. What's the strangest or most unexpected thing you've ever found in a box of pasta or noodles? Drop it in the comments below and share your experience. At number 1, Jin Ramen, avoid. You open the packet and the smell is calm and subtle. Nothing like the fiery noodles blowing up online. Jin Ramen comes across as mild and comforting, the kind you'd hand to someone with a sensitive stomach without a second thought. But that softness is masking something most people never bother to check. Jin quietly sits at the top of the sodium chart, packing roughly 1,800 to 1,980 milligrams per serving, more than the spicy noodles people fear, more than the foam cups, more than nearly everything else in the instant noodle aisle. That's where the illusion works. Mild reads as safe, so people eat it again and again, 3 or 4 times a week, because it doesn't burn, doesn't make them sweat, and never feels risky. All the while, that invisible salt load keeps piling up, and without any heat to warn your tongue, there's no alarm. The spicy stuff scares people into moderation, but Jin's gentleness invites habit. That's what makes it more dangerous. If it's staying in your pantry, skip the seasoning packet, rinse the noodles after cooking, and build it up with real vegetables and protein, or walk past it altogether and choose a safer option. So which harmless ramen had you fooled the longest? The 2 noodles worth buying. After going through all those risky options, you're probably asking yourself, what's actually safe to eat? The good news is, there are 2 noodle products that consistently pass safety inspections, use clean ingredients, and won't cause blood pressure spikes or put unnecessary strain on your kidneys. Option 1. Eden Foods Organic Pasta. Eden Foods produces traditional Italian-style pasta using organic durum wheat grown right here in the United States. Every step of production is tightly controlled to ensure quality and safety. The wheat comes from certified organic farms, and the milling process preserves the bran and germ, keeping natural fiber and nutrients intact. The pasta is slowly dried at low temperatures, which maintains both texture and nutritional value. What sets Eden Foods apart is transparency. Every batch is tested for heavy metals, pesticides, and microbial contamination, and the company publishes the results online so you know exactly what you're eating. Unlike most instant noodles, the pasta itself contains no added sodium. You decide how much salt to add when boiling, giving you full control over your daily intake. When cooked al dente, Eden Foods pasta has a firm texture that holds its shape and a subtle nutty flavor from the whole grain. It's versatile enough for traditional Italian dishes, Asian-inspired stir-fries, or simple preparations with olive oil and vegetables. That versatility means you won't get bored eating the same meal repeatedly, and it supports a healthier, more balanced diet. Yes, Eden Foods pasta costs more than conventional instant noodles, but the difference is small compared to the hidden costs of cheap processed alternatives. Emergency room visits, medication adjustments, declining kidney function, and long-term cardiovascular damage. Your health is worth the investment, and choosing products like Eden Foods gives you peace of mind alongside genuine nutrition and safety. Option 2. Lotus Foods Organic Rice Ramen. Lotus Foods offers certified organic rice ramen, designed with dietary restrictions and senior health in mind. Each serving contains just 180 milligrams of sodium, about 90% less than conventional instant ramen, allowing you to enjoy a bowl without worrying about blood pressure spikes or added strain on your kidneys. These noodles are made from whole grain rice, making them naturally gluten-free and easier to digest than wheat-based alternatives. For seniors with digestive issues or gluten sensitivity, this is a genuinely safe and accessible option. Production facilities consistently pass FDA inspections with 0 contamination violations, and independent testing confirms no heavy metals, artificial preservatives, or chemical additives are present. The texture of rice noodles differs from traditional ramen. They are smoother and more delicate, lacking the chewy bite of wheat noodles, yet they absorb flavors beautifully. By adding your own fresh vegetables, herbs, and a small amount of low-sodium broth, you can create a meal that is not only satisfying and delicious, but also genuinely safe for your health. Don't gamble with your health by choosing the wrong noodles. The brands we exposed today are still on store shelves, still marketed as quick, convenient meals. But now you know the truth. You know which products hide dangerously high sodium, contaminated production lines, and harmful chemicals. You also know which ones are genuinely safe. Subscribe now, or if you're watching on TV, tap your remote so you're never caught off guard again. Your heart, your kidneys, and your family will thank you.